Supreme Court Greenlights Louisiana's nitrogen gas execution, a legal and ethical analysis. Dive into the complex legal and ethical landscape surrounding Louisiana's first nitrogen gas execution. The Supreme Court's decision has ignited a firestorm of debate, raising critical questions about cruel and unusual punishment, religious freedom, and the future of capital punishment in America. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The Supreme Court has rejected a last-minute appeal to halt Louisiana's planned execution of Jessie Hoffman Jr. using nitrogen gas. This decision, reached by a narrow 5-4 vote, clears the way for the state to proceed with its first execution in 15 years. The implications of this ruling are far-reaching, impacting not only Hoffman, but also the broader discourse on capital punishment. Jessie Hoffman Jr. was convicted of the 1996 murder of Mary Molly Elliott. The crime occurred when Hoffman was just 18 years old, a factor that has been raised in arguments against his execution. This case has become a focal point in the ongoing debate over the methods and morality of capital punishment. Louisiana's decision to proceed with nitrogen gas marks a significant moment. It highlights the state's commitment to carrying out death sentences and underscores the challenges states face in securing traditional lethal injection drugs. This execution reignites the national conversation about the ethics and legality of different execution methods. Hoffman's legal team argued that the use of nitrogen gas constitutes cruel and unusual punishment, violating the Eighth Amendment. They contended that the method poses a significant risk of suffering and does not guarantee a painless death. This argument forms the core of their challenge to the execution. The defense also claimed that the execution infringes upon Hoffman's religious freedom, specifically his right to practice Buddhism. They argued that the nitrogen gas method interferes with Buddhist breathing and meditation practices, violating his constitutional rights. This religious freedom argument adds another layer of complexity to the case. Louisiana officials have consistently maintained that the nitrogen gas method is painless and humane. They emphasize the need for justice for the victim's family and assert that the execution will be carried out in a dignified manner. The state's position underscores its commitment to upholding the death penalty. The Attorney General expects at least 4 people on Louisiana's death row to be executed this year. This statement signals a renewed focus on capital punishment in the state. It also suggests that Louisiana intends to utilize nitrogen gas as a viable method of execution moving forward. The Supreme Court had previously declined to intervene in a similar case involving nitrogen hypoxia in Alabama. This prior decision set a precedent that likely influenced the court's decision in Hoffman's case. The legal landscape surrounding nitrogen gas executions remains complex and contested. A 19th Judicial District Court judge also declined to stop the execution. State lawyers argued that religion-based arguments fell under the jurisdiction of a federal judge who had already ruled on them. This highlights the multiple layers of legal challenges and the various court decisions involved in this case. The nitrogen gas method involves strapping Hoffman to a gurney and fitting him with a full-face respirator mask. This mask will then be used to administer pure nitrogen gas, depriving him of oxygen. The procedure is designed to induce hypoxia, leading to death. The gas will be administered for at least 15 minutes, or 5 minutes after Hoffman's heart rate flatlines. This duration is intended to ensure death occurs. The specific protocols are designed to minimize the risk of prolonged suffering. Involuntary movements have been reported in previous executions using nitrogen gas. These movements are attributed to oxygen deprivation and raise concerns about the potential for suffering. The observed effects of nitrogen hypoxia remain a subject of debate and scrutiny. Nitrogen gas has been used only 4 times in the U.S., all in Alabama. This limited use underscores the novelty and controversial nature of the method. The experiences in Alabama provide some insight into the potential effects and challenges associated with nitrogen gas executions. 4 states currently authorize nitrogen hypoxia: Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Oklahoma. Arkansas recently signed legislation allowing executions using nitrogen gas. This indicates a growing interest in nitrogen gas as an alternative method of execution. The adoption of nitrogen gas is largely a response to challenges in obtaining lethal injection drugs. drug shortages, and legal battles have prompted states to seek alternative methods of capital punishment. This shift reflects the ongoing difficulties in carrying out executions using traditional methods. Louisiana's expansion of approved death penalty methods reflects a broader trend among states seeking to maintain the option of capital punishment. This expansion is driven by the desire to overcome obstacles to traditional execution methods. The legal and ethical implications of these changes are significant. Nationally, there has been a decline in executions due to legal battles, drug shortages, and shifting public opinion. The majority of states have either abolished or paused the death penalty. This trend highlights the evolving landscape of capital punishment in the United States. A small group of execution opponents held a vigil outside the prison. They voiced their opposition to the death penalty and the use of nitrogen gas. These protests reflect the deep divisions surrounding capital punishment. The group planned a Buddhist reading and meditation for peace. This act of protest underscores the religious and ethical objections to the execution. It also highlights the diverse perspectives on capital punishment within the community. The Supreme Court's decision to allow Louisiana's nitrogen gas execution has ignited a national debate. This case raises fundamental questions about the ethics of capital punishment, the role of the courts, and the future of executions in America. The legal and ethical implications will continue to be debated for years to come. Call to action. Now that you're informed about the complexities surrounding Louisiana's nitrogen gas execution, it's time to take action. Contact your elected officials to voice your opinion on capital punishment and the methods used. Engage in respectful dialogue with others to foster a deeper understanding of the issues. Support organizations working to reform the criminal justice system and advocate for human rights. Your voice matters in shaping the future of justice in America.